When a 20-year-old black maid was mocked by her millionaire boss for not understanding English, everyone laughed. "Translate this, and my salary is yours," he joked, waving a paper she couldn't possibly read. The guests laughed, cameras ready to capture her shame. But what they didn't know was that behind her silence hid brilliance. She looked up with calm eyes and said nothing yet. But her heart whispered, "Not today." When she finally spoke, her words would echo louder than any laughter. "Watch till the end." Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Her name was Aaliyah Jones, a 20-year-old girl who moved from Georgia to the city to build a better life. She lived in a small servants' quarter behind the mansion of Richard Keller, a man whose wealth was only matched by his arrogance. Aaliyah worked quietly, cleaning, dusting, serving, dreaming of a future far from servitude. What no one knew was that she had once been a linguistics student, fluent in several languages. But after her father's death, her family lost everything. Her mother's illness forced her to drop out, and life reduced her to mopping the floors of the rich. Still, Aaliyah carried her dignity like armor. She believed kindness wasn't weakness, but pride would soon test that belief. And in one cruel moment, her intelligence would change everything. It happened on a Saturday night during one of Richard Keller's grand parties. Expensive suits, diamond earrings, and crystal glasses filled the glowing hall. Jazz music played softly while servants moved like shadows. Aaliyah kept her eyes low, serving drinks. Then as she poured wine, one of the guests chuckled, noticing her pause at a French label. "She can't read that, can she?" he teased. Richard grinned. "Of course not. She barely knows English." The room burst into laughter. Aaliyah felt her cheeks burn. But she said nothing. To impress his guests further, Richard pulled a freshly signed business contract from his briefcase, written entirely in French. He smirked, holding it up. "Aaliyah, if you can translate this, my salary is yours." The guests laughed again. Some even took out their phones to record her humiliation. But Aaliyah didn't back away. With trembling hands, she took the document and began to read. At first, her voice was soft, then confident. Line by line, she translated perfectly. Her French was flawless, her tone steady. The laughter stopped, eyes widened. By the time she finished, silence swallowed the room. She placed the paper down gently and looked at him. "So, does that mean my salary is yours now, sir?" The arrogance in Richard's smile melted. The laughter he loved turned into the silence he feared most. For the first time, Richard Keller stood speechless, his face flushed with embarrassment. The same people who laughed moments ago now looked at Aaliyah with admiration. One guest, an executive from an international company, leaned forward. "You speak French fluently?" Aaliyah nodded calmly. "Yes, ma'am. And Spanish, Mandarin, Swahili, and English." The guests gasped. Richard's smirk collapsed completely. The woman smiled. "We're hiring multilingual professionals at my firm. Someone like you deserves more than this." Richard tried to interrupt, but it was over. His arrogance had been shattered, not by anger, but by quiet brilliance. Aaliyah stood tall in her uniform, no longer invisible, no longer small. In that moment, the maid he mocked had become the lesson he would never forget. The next morning, Aaliyah resigned. Within weeks, she joined the same international company and earned more than she ever dreamed. She finally continued her studies and brought her mother to live with her. The mansion she once cleaned was now just a memory. As for Richard Keller, the story of that night spread across the internet. Millionaire mocks black maid. Instantly regrets it. His name became a symbol of arrogance exposed. Aaliyah never sought revenge. She only wanted respect. She taught the world that a uniform doesn't define intelligence, and humility isn't weakness. So next time you think someone is beneath you, remember her story. True power is not in money. It's in respect. Where are you watching from? Because another Aaliyah is waiting to rise. Take care.